Hi Sagittarius, this is Lee at Fresh Astrology, and if you would like a reading with me, you can go to www.freshastrology.com. Also, if you would like a life coaching session with me, you can go to freshastrology.com for that as well. If you want to take part in our money program, which is an online self-guided course, you can find that at www.tribetripsandretreats.com. Both addresses will be below. And if you don't want to do any of that but want to be a part of our growing tribe community, especially geared for new or aspiring entrepreneurs, then get on our mailing list at tribetripsandretreats.com. We would love to have you in our community. So, looking at July, Sagittarius, we're looking at a kind of storyline that began in late January, mid-February, and then another storyline that began in early March, and how things have kind of arced, and there's been stuff happening in these storylines, and then there's some kind of fruition, conclusion, insight, new pathway, new approach, new start that happens in July, mid-July, all the way through to mid-August, due to eclipses and Jupiter going direct again. Also by mid-August, we will have Mercury going direct. So Mercury will be retrograde in July, but because of the direct movement of Jupiter and the eclipses, you'll definitely feel, Mercury direct always feels a little bit like communications get lost or fuzzy, or sometimes computers don't seem to work as smoothly as they would otherwise. That stuff does happen under Mercury retrograde. The best way to use it, since you can't control always the other stuff, is to be willing to review, revise, go back to square one, rethink an approach to something. In your case, it looks like it has to do with school decisions, travel decisions, marketing decisions, publishing decisions. So let's review that again. Higher education, travel, maybe some international themes, marketing, and publishing. So it may be time in mid-July through the end of July and maybe into the beginning of August to review some plans, to review something. You thought you were going in one direction, you had made a decision, and now you may be rethinking that. So be prepared for that. Just stay flexible. Sometimes we need time to process. Sometimes we need to change our minds. It happens. And so what you want to do is not beat yourself up, but stay flexible and just move forward with whatever makes the most sense come July and August. Other areas that are impacted strongly include the areas to do with psychology, psychiatry, mental health, old patterns and habits that can either be good or not so good. So it's been very beneficial for Sagittarius to use the first 6 to 7 months of the year to work on psychological issues, to work on psychological health for themselves, and maybe to help even maybe a child or family member, a parent as well. So I think if that describes you, you've been working on how you think and your emotional health and doing self-work, I think you're going to have a good result come July and August. And that may mean that because you're doing so much better, because you've done this work, you can make better decisions in other areas, like how and when you want to travel, or what kind of marketing you want to do, or where you want to go to school. These things will be easier for you after you've stabilized some other stuff, maybe some moods or health issues that you've had. So I think July and August are going to feel much better in that regard. Jupiter had been retrograde starting in March, and will be going direct in July. And so in your 12th house of the psyche and the mind, it kind of, plays into what we've been talking about. If you stop to do some work on yourself and to do a little bit of self-improvement and self-analysis, maybe with the help of a counselor, maybe just on your own, this will prove to be beneficial and help you out, and you'll be able to move forward feeling better. And Jupiter will be heading into your sign coming up in November. And I think what you've been doing the first half of the year is setting the stage for that eventual success. But you've had to review and maybe do some serious self-care, and change some things maybe in your approach to your daily routine, and how it impacts your health. Our daily routine absolutely impacts our health. So that includes where we work, who we work with, how much time we devote to helping others versus time we take for ourselves, our exercise routines, our diets, supplements, regular checkups. All that stuff improves our quality of life or detracts from our quality of life. And so some of these issues have just needed to be addressed, and you've needed to make some changes. I think by the time we get to January and August, any changes you put in place will be showing some better results. And you may find that the first half of the year was more for information gathering or hitting the pause button, whereas in July and August you're ready to more proactively move forward with certain things that may have to do with your daily schedule, may have to do with health routines. You're more willing and ready to move forward than you were. You couldn't have done it before July and August. You had to go through whatever you went through to get to this place of change and moving forward. The other areas that are impacted, I don't know if I included the possibility of moving. One area for a lot of you is this area of change in the home. And it could have been very confusing around home, where you live, maybe where your parents live too. Where are you living? How are you living? Where do you want to live? These questions could have been very confusing and murky for you. And I think you hit a time of clarity in July and August that helps you move forward there. So for some of you, it could be the sale of a property, the purchase of a property. This all becomes clearer for you in July and August, and will feel good, I think. So some of those issues about where you live get cleared up, and I think more likely than not feel supportive and help lift your mood if that's been started to be kind of a drag for you over the last 6 to 7 months. A lot of you are really wanting to apply yourself in July and August to issues to do with learning, school, maybe marketing, maybe writing, publishing. So we've got publishing, writing, and then teaching and learning issues. So it just depends on how old you are, where you are in your school process, whether or not you are a teacher, whether or not you are a writer, whether or not you have something to market. But a lot of you are focused somewhere in there. So if you're younger, you might be thinking about where you're going to go to college or go to school. If you're out of school, this could be more about possibly a child. Where are they going to go to school? What should they be doing? If you would just like to plan a big trip, you may be motivated to really work on that. Some of you are working on issues around commuting and transportation issues. Some people may find they're moving like far away. They have the feeling of purchasing a property far away, or just it feels very different. But remember, we were talking earlier about, you know, I like it when the themes start to layer on top of the other, where there's some changes in the family, changes in daily routine. So that might merge with moving, and it might merge with changing schools, changing location somehow, or changing a commute might merge with changing daily routines and moving. So you can see how those all kind of tie in. Some of you are starting a new position in July, so an actual new job will come up for you in July and August. So something new may occur that feels good because we've got the influence of Venus here. So it looks like great timing to begin something. So if you are looking for a position or a positive change in your career, this is a time when you may see it. So have a wonderful month, and I'll see you in August.